A 19-pound smoke gray Maine Coon had been doing something in Jenna's bedroom every single night at 1:02 a.m. for 7 months. She slept through all of it. Then she set up a camera. What it showed her explained something no doctor and no prescription had ever been able to fix. Her partner Ryan, in a neighborhood still new to her. On paper, things were fine. Stable job, someone who loved her, a yard she kept meaning to use. But at 1 a.m., paper didn't help. At 1 a.m., her heart would begin racing before she had even opened her eyes. Not a nightmare, not a sound from outside, just her body deciding for reasons it never explained that it was time to be afraid of something she could not locate. She would lie still and wait. Some nights it passed in 20 minutes. Some nights she was still awake at 3:40 watching the ceiling go gray. Her doctor called it generalized anxiety. Jenna called it every single night. Slate and Pearl came into her life the way most important things do, sideways and without warning. A coworker had found them listed at a local animal shelter. 2 Maine Coons surrendered together by an elderly woman who had moved into assisted living and could no longer provide the veterinary care or the space they needed. The shelter volunteers said they were a bonded pair and that their intake window was nearly closed. Jenna's coworker could not keep them. Her landlord said no. She texted Jenna a photo on a Friday afternoon with 4 words, "Just a few weeks." Jenna looked at the photo, a large smoke gray cat with golden eyes. Beside him, a white Maine Coon so enormous and so still, he looked like something assembled from the cold. She said yes. That was 7 months ago. Nobody informed the cats about the few weeks part. Slate came through the carrier door first, moving with the measured calm of someone who had already formed opinions about the space and simply needed to confirm them. He was 19 pounds, smoke gray, built low and dense, with fur that shifted from deep charcoal to pale silver depending on the light, and eyes the color of old gold that moved from window to door to face, with quiet, cataloging efficiency. Pearl followed, white, large, carrying the settled ease of someone who had been promised a specific chair and fully intended to find it. By the second morning, every warm surface had been assessed and claimed. Slate took the foot of Jenna's side of the bed. Pearl took the center of the couch, leaving Ryan 1/3 of the cushions in his own living room, a situation Ryan had accepted without comment. Jenna ordered a large breed cat bed. It arrived on Thursday. Slate sat beside it, looked at her, and waited until she moved. 3 weeks in, something changed that Jenna did not immediately connect to anything. She was not waking at 1 a.m., not every night. Some mornings she opened her eyes at 6:30, feeling like she had actually been asleep the whole time, which her body had not managed consistently in 2 years. She assumed it was having something to care for. She assumed it was the routine they had imposed on the house. She assumed several things. None were right. Her friend Dana came by on a Saturday. They sat on what remained of the couch. Pearl had expanded his territory to include the left armrest, and Jenna mentioned it without thinking much of it. She had stopped waking at night. Dana asked what had changed. Jenna glanced at Slate, who was sitting on the armrest with his full attention fixed on their conversation, as though assessing whether it was going somewhere worth following. She said, "I think it might be the cats." Dana looked at him for a moment. "He looks like he has already decided something," she said. "He has," Jenna said. She just didn't know what. At a routine checkup the following week, her doctor asked how the anxiety had been. Jenna paused. She had not reached for the medication she kept by the bed for nighttime episodes in 6 weeks. Her doctor noted this and asked what had changed. Jenna said she had taken in 2 cats. Her doctor wrote something down. Jenna did not ask what. She set up a small camera on the bedroom dresser that Thursday, pointed toward the bed. Ryan assumed she was trying to catch one of them knocking things off the nightstand, which had happened twice and which Pearl had never acknowledged. She watched the footage the next morning over her first cup of coffee, sitting at the kitchen table while Slate occupied the chair across from her, with the patient attention of someone waiting to find out if this was going to involve him. If you're still watching and haven't subscribed yet, that honestly stings a little. Hit subscribe. You're going to want to see what happened next. 1:08 a.m. Slate lifted his head from the foot of the bed, looked at Jenna once, then stood and walked the full length of the mattress with the unhurried precision of someone keeping a scheduled appointment. He stepped carefully over Ryan's legs. He placed himself on Jenna's chest, not beside her, on her. His full 19 pounds lowered slowly and deliberately, his chin resting just below her throat, his eyes open and fixed on the bedroom door. He was not sleeping. He watched the door, the window, the door again, with steady, unblinking attention for 18 minutes. Jenna's breathing, visible on the footage even in low light, matched his within 4 minutes of him settling. Then Pearl stood from the foot of the bed and pressed himself along her left side. his full length against hers, a wall of white fur from shoulder to hip. They held her there, Slate on her chest and Pearl at her side, for 31 minutes. Then Slate stood, walked back to the foot of the bed, turned twice and lay down. Pearl followed 3 minutes later. The room went still. She watched the footage twice. Then she pulled up the night before, 1:04 a.m. Same walk, same placement, same sequence. The night before that, 1:01 a.m. She went back through every night the memory card held, 14 nights total. Every single night, without exception, never more than 6 minutes from 1 a.m. in either direction. Slate first, Pearl second. She sat with her coffee going cold and watched 14 nights of something happening in her own bedroom that she had no memory of because she had been asleep through all of it. Her body had been calming itself. She just had not known what was doing it. She called Dana from the kitchen table and described what she had seen. Dana was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Jenna, he knew." Jenna started to say something and stopped. She brought both cats in for veterinary care visit the following week. They were due for an annual checkup and mentioned the footage almost as an afterthought. The vet was not surprised. Maine Coons, she explained, are one of the few domestic breeds known to actively track the physiological states of the people they live with. Changes in breathing rhythm, shifts in body temperature, the particular stillness that comes before a panic response. They respond without training, without being asked. Slate had been doing it since the 3rd week he was in that house, a house he had arrived at temporarily for a problem no one had asked him to solve. Slate is estimated to be 5 years old now. Pearl is 4. The large breed cat bed still sits in the corner of the bedroom. Neither has used it. Slate still comes at 1 a.m. Some nights, Jenna wakes just long enough to feel the familiar weight settle onto her chest. 19 pounds, unhurried, completely certain. She does not open her eyes. She lets her breathing follow his, and she goes back under. Pearl is always there by the time she does. She does not know where they were before the animal shelter, before the rescue cat adoption listing her coworker found on a Friday afternoon. She has stopped trying to find out. It does not seem to matter anymore. Some things arrive and go directly to work. Slate found something in that house that needed tending to on the 3rd night he was there. He has been tending to it every single night since, without recognition, without being asked, and without ever once missing a shift. Have you ever had a pet quietly fix something in your life before you even knew it was broken? Tell me in the comments.